Hey everyone, welcome to Menlo students. My name is Donovan and I am the student director at the San Mateo campus. We are so glad you chose to join us tonight. We have a great program for you guys. We're gonna be kicking off a new series called The You Effect. You get to hear from Pastor Matt later on. But hey, if you're new or if you've been around and you just haven't got connected, we would love to help you get plugged into a life group. So go ahead and text connect to the number on the screen. We would love to help you find a life group, find community here at Menlo students. We've got a great night for you. We're gonna get started with a game. We pulled together 3 different sets of brothers who all happen to have the same last name for a head-to-head minute-to-win-it challenge. This is Stack Attack. Check it out.
Might be on the floor.
Hello? We lost. Well, that was awesome. Not as easy as it looks, stacking cups, huh? But thank you guys for playing. Now we are going to get ready for our new series called The You Effect. But before we do that, our worship team is going to sing a song about who God says you are, because you matter to God, and He has chosen you to be a part of His family. And so let's sing this together.
Lost, but He brought me in. Oh, His love for me. Oh, His love for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I ransomed me, His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, He died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen
I want you to take a moment to think about your most fun friend. Write their name in the chat, tag them. When I think about my most fun friend from high school, it's this guy named Matt. No, it's not me, it's another Matt. But I grew up with Matt in middle school and then he moved away. But we found out he was coming back his senior year and everyone was pumped. Matt was the kind of guy that everyone liked to be around. He was funny, but he did it in a kind way. And so if Matt was at like a party or an event or there was something going on and you knew Matt was going to be there, everyone wanted to go. Maybe the friend you thought of is that way. Everyone wants to be around them because they're so fun. Or maybe you thought of someone who's just, they're so nice that when you're around them, you actually become a nicer person. Or someone on your team and they work so hard that you work harder when you're around them. Or maybe for you, you thought about the opposite. You thought about someone who's angry all the time and like you don't even want to be in the room with them. Or someone who's so negative that they bring the whole mood of everyone down. Or even someone who's just so loud that when they enter a room, the decibel level of the room, it just starts rising and rising because everyone else has to talk loud just to talk over them. Now, the truth is about all these people who might have an impact on our surroundings and on the people around them, the truth is they probably don't realize the impact they're having. I mean, they're just living their normal life. They're just going about their business. But they've never really taken the time to think about their impact and to actually think about how they could use it. And that's why this series is so important. This series is called the You Effect because you have an effect on the people around you. I mean, what we're really talking about is influence. You influence the people in your circles. Now, some of you may be thinking, yeah, I get the concept of influence. I'm in a leadership position, like people listen to my opinion, like I get that. But others of you, you're thinking, I don't have any impact. I don't have any influence. The me effect, the you effect is absolutely zero. I'm in quarantine right now. The only person I'm around is my dog, and my dog won't even listen to me. I have no influence. And the truth is, we're all in quarantine. So we're interacting with people less, and when we are interacting with them, it's on Zoom calls, and surely we think that our influence has gone down. But the thing is, you still have an influence on the people around you. You still have an impact, whether you think about it or not. And probably your influence is more than you think it is. And so today we're gonna look at the story of this guy. There's this bug right in my eye. We're going to keep going though. We're going to look at the story of this guy who had a massive influence on the people around him. And this guy, he never thought that he would influence people the way that he did. So let me set the scene for you. You might know that Jesus, when he was doing his public ministry for 3 years, he would travel around and he would preach and he would literally heal sick people as they came to him. And he amassed this following of thousands of people. If you've seen the show on Netflix called Messiah, it's kind of like a modern day picture of what the Messiah would look like if he was here. And this guy had thousands of people following him. Picture that, but in Jesus' time. Side note, that show got canceled, so I'm super sad about it. But check out the first season. So Jesus, on this day, he was crossing the Sea of Galilee. And he got to the other side and he was sitting outside and there were thousands of people there listening to him. And he calls over one of the disciples and he says, where can we get everybody, some bread, something to eat? And his disciple looks at him, kind of says, Jesus, you're crazy, man. We can't give all these people something to eat. There's no dollar menu around here. We can't buy 10,000 chicken nuggets to feed everyone. I mean, he literally said it would take a half year's wage to give everyone one bite. This is impossible. And then another disciple comes up. His name's Andrew. And I think Andrew was probably joking around, but he says this. He says, Jesus, I found this boy. He's got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Do you think that can help? Do you think anyone can maybe have a meal with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish? And he's probably laughing and the disciples are laughing, but Jesus does something incredible. He tells everyone to sit down. He takes the bread, he takes the fish, and he gives thanks and he blesses it. And he says, start passing it out to everyone. And so they start passing out the bread and they start passing out the fish, and everyone eats their fill. They have so much food that there's 12 baskets of leftovers. People are taking home to-go boxes to their families. Jesus had taken 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish and he multiplied it to feed thousands of people. It's incredible. Now, I know you may have a ton of questions about this. Was it buffet style? Were there appetizers? What did they drink? Why was this kid only going to eat 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish for lunch? That's a weird lunch. how did the miracle actually work? Well, side note, Jesus is God, so we're not going to really fully understand how he performed a miracle. But here's the thing. Here's an important question I think we could ask. Who's the most influential person in this story? Yeah, it's easy to say Jesus, and it's easy to even say the disciples, but I think the real superstar of this encounter is the boy who brought the lunch. You see, he didn't think that he would have an influence on other people that day. He was just bringing his lunch. But influence isn't about how much you have. You see, the reason this boy was so influential was that he simply offered what he had. He simply offered what he had to Jesus. He didn't take the stage. He didn't have a leadership position. He didn't have a big following on Instagram. We don't even know his name. But he simply offered what he had to Jesus, and Jesus did something amazing with it. Because influence for us as Christians isn't about having more. It isn't about knowing more people, having more followers. It's about offering what we have to God and trusting that he'll do something amazing with it. You see, we got to start rethinking how we think about influence. It's easy for us to think that we don't have an influence on other people, but what if we started to believe that we do? What if we started to believe that we had more of an effect than we think that we do? And that's the truth. You have more of an effect than you think that you do. What if we started to believe that you actually had influence in your family, that you actually had influence in your friend circle? What if we started to believe that we had influence and impact in our life groups? It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to say, I'm not going to go tonight to life group because it wouldn't really matter if I did. Or I'm not going to turn my screen on and I'm going to keep playing my video game because it doesn't really matter if I engage. Or I'm not going to offer a prayer request or share what's going on in my life because it wouldn't make a big deal. This boy could have said it's only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. It wouldn't matter if I offered this to the crowd of thousands. There's nothing that this will affect. You see, you have no idea what God wants to do with what you offer him. You have no idea what God would do with the things that you give his way. You see, when I was around 20, I was in a tough space in life, and I'd walked away from God, and I was trying to get back on a path to walk towards him. And so my cousin actually drove 3 hours to introduce me to some people, a group of Christians. And he said, these are good people. They'll help you. Start hanging out with them. And then he drove back to where he lived. And I became such good friends with these people over the next 4 or 5 years that God literally saved my life through my relationships with them. And all my cousin did was offer what he had. He just offered me some relationships, and God did something amazing with it. He pulled me out of some darkness. I was so grateful for that. You see, God can do amazing things with your influence. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to first think about who's in your circle. Who are the people around you that God might be calling you to influence? Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your friends. Maybe it's your life group. God could be calling you to show up and engage with your life group. So pray to God. Who do you want me to look towards, God? And then ask, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to show up and have an impact in the lives of these people? Maybe it's just by asking them or sharing a prayer request with them or asking them if they have any needs right now, if there's any way you can bless their life. And then once you think about who, and then once you think about what, then just do it. Then just do it, because you never know what God's going to do on the other side of the influence you have to offer. And so that's the point of today. You have influence. And God wants to do amazing things through the influence you have. Just think about if during quarantine, most people say that everyone disengaged. But Menlo students, the life groups there, they started to engage even more because you showed up and you used your influence for the benefit of others. And God did something amazing through it. I think that's possible for us. And I hope that you use your influence and God uses it this next week to bless others.
Well, everyone, that was week 1 of the You Effect. As you go this week, remember what Matt said. You have more effect than you know. So take this week to think about who's in your inner circle, and then ask yourself, what is something that they need? How can you encourage them? How can you serve them? And then do it. Remember that one small action multiplied by many can have a huge impact. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.